And James Gunn seemed like he had a pretty good understanding when it came to Suicide Squad fans. It really tickled them. I don't know why I did that move. The end of an era. What's happening, film friends? Dave the Film Junkie here. Well, I'm not really a big fan of ranking, but I had to. I mean, I usually do the rankings when it comes to CBMs of the year, and I messed up when I did the ranking on Vodka Stream. I left out Shazam 2 because, well, it was that forgettable. Just kidding. Nothing against David F. Sandberg, my God. Justice League will not show up on this ranking, okay? All right? You okay with that? Because I'm not putting it on the list. Now that we got Zack Snyder Justice League, Justice was retired, okay? We retired that piece of shit of a fucking film. We put it to bed. We did a whole live watch on the Vodka stream, and if you guys want to watch that, do so, because we were taking shots and doing all this stuff, having a lot of fun. If Ayer's cut was out, I would not have the Studio Squad on this list either. When it comes to this list, I don't hate any of these movies. It's like, what did I enjoy the least to what I enjoyed the most? That's what it is. And we're starting off, of course, and I think a lot of people are not going to be shocked by the fact that I'm starting off with Wonder Woman 1984. It's not all bad, but there's a lot that's not good. And I get what Patty Jenkins was doing, and I appreciate it, because when she made that first Wonder Woman, it was like, all right, I did that. Now I want to do something that's more in tune with my childhood. I'm going to make it more like the show, but little things in there and what was going on there, and the fact that we saw that first trailer, which was that trailer was, holy Lord, with the music and everything like that. But then it just didn't seem like that was actually in the actual movie. So yeah, as much as I don't hate it and still can enjoy certain aspects of it, that's going to be at the bottom of the list right here. And then we have Suicide Squad. That's right. Because anytime I watch it, I just go, man, this is not what David Ayer wanted. This is not what David Ayer wanted. And like I said, if we get that Ayer cut, this gets removed from the list. Totally throw it out, and I'm sure this would be ranked very much higher up on the list. But sadly, when I watch it and I see the fuckery, you could kind of see just what they did, the reshoots, you could just totally see that. Of course, there's the director's cut, which does add another element to the story, which is what David Ayer was going for, which is, of course, better. But yeah, sadly, that's what's next, which, Suicide Squad. Then we got number 13, which is what recently just came out, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Yeah, I mean, you guys saw my review. It's not all bad. There's some good things in here, but I could just tell, there's, especially when it comes to the first and last act, I could just see things in there, and it just didn't measure up when it came to the first one. The first one was just like an achievement from James Wan. This one just didn't quite match that, and I just, I just walked out kind of going like, well, that was it, and that was sadly, the end of the DCEU right there, and it did not go out with a bang. Number 12 is Shazam 2. That's right, Fury of the Gods. As much as I love David F. Sandberg as a filmmaker, but you could tell that he struggled when it came to this. Like, he had some good things that were in here as well. Like, it's not all bad. He had some really interesting and cool ideas when it came to this, but sadly, it was pretty damn forgettable. It was pretty damn forgettable, and I wish it wasn't. I wish it either measured up. I mean, obviously, I always wish the sequel was going to be better than the first one, but I going into it, I knew it wasn't going to be better than the first one. But sadly, it fell flat. It fell flat. But so there you go. Number 11. The Suicide Squad. That's right. James Gunn's Suicide Squad. That's right. The new co-CEO of DC Studios, and when it came to his Suicide Squad. Now, a lot of people have this rank. I've seen a lot of people rank this up even further, which I totally understand. It's a different tone than what David Ayer was going for. And James Gunn seemed like he had a pretty good understanding when it came to Suicide Squad fans. It really tickled them. I don't know why I did that move. But it really tickled them where they needed to be, tickled, I guess, when it came to that. To me, it was like, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's enjoyable. I watched it like probably 3 times and, nothing wrong with it, but it's just some of it I was like, it's kind of just whatever for me. But, Margot Robbie, Harley Quinn, might have been the last time we've seen her, and she kicked ass. Which then goes to number 10, which is Birds of Prey. Yeah, that's right. I did like Birds of Prey just a little bit more, even though this movie got fucked with as well. And God knows what the original, movie was going to be like. But I think it just had a stronger villain when it came to Ewan McGregor's Black Mask. I mean, I think he was just, that's what helps when it comes to these movies. And, it was Margot Robbie, Harley Quinn in her element, and it was R-rated, and they didn't hold back when it came to certain things. And, as much as they cheesed up Cassandra Cain badly, they still did a good job when it came to most of the characters. And I thought, okay, I could still enjoy this one. Then we got number 9, which is Black Adam. Now, when this came out, it was just one of those things where it's like, is the hierarchy really going to change when it comes to the DCEU? Well, no. But it was a valiant effort. But just to be like, over a decade of trying to get this movie going, and Dwayne Johnson and just the writer, and there was things I did not like about this, but there was things I did. I liked the tone. I did like the tone, and there were some things in here. The VFX mostly looked fantastic, and there was some good action here, and I felt like there really was something here, but they did the whole lighthearted thing with the kid. And then, of course, they have the Justice Society that's in there, but not bad. Not a bad concept to have that in there. I mean, let's face it, Pierce Brosnan, as Dr. Fate, that was a winner 100%. And sadly, we're not going to see that again. But there were things that were good in here, but there were things that did fall flat, at least for me. Number 8, Blue Beetle. I enjoyed this one. I thought I was going to be annoyed by this, that I was worried about it. But for the most part, I thought it was an enjoyable movie. I felt like it grasped, it got that 80s adventure family element kind of movie. And I really enjoyed that. I said that in my, I've only seen it once, and I do want to see it again. And I do plan on seeing it because obviously it's on Max right now. But, it was enjoyable. It was a small movie. It wasn't trying to do anything too crazy. And I thought it actually did a fairly good job. Sholo is a very likable actor. He's a very likable actor. And hopefully, we do get to see him more when it comes to James Gunn's DCU. Number 7. The Flash. This movie was so controversial. It's like, holy Lord. But I think out of all the movies that came out in 2023, I watched The Flash the most. I definitely did. And I enjoyed it the most. I definitely enjoyed it the most because I did like the concept of taking the Flashpoint story and putting a different spin on it. It just felt like sometimes it was like, what are they trying to achieve here? What did they want to inject in here? And I think maybe at times, obviously when everybody always talks about that ending, when all the multiverse stuff is like colliding together, of course, everybody's looking at the VFX, but, talking with some VFX that maybe have worked on it, I get what the concept they were going for, but I think like the idea was just a little bit much when it came to that, even though the whole Nicolas Cage thing fighting the spider was, I thought, absolutely freaking awesome. But yeah, there was concepts in there that maybe just people are just like, what the hell are you even trying to do here? But for the most part, the initial story and Ezra and the initial story with Barry and his mom and whatnot, it's just, I thought all of that worked very well. And then just bringing back Michael Keaton as Batman, I'm sorry, but I was a huge fan of all that. Number 6, the first Aquaman. Let's face it, this was an achievement. Obviously, when it came to Zack Snyder and what he was doing, and then we actually found out what he was going to be doing when it came to the Atlanteans, but he wanted a director to do whatever they were going to do. And James Wan did that and brought us a pretty magnificent fucking movie when it comes to, again, Aquaman is not, everybody always jokes on Aquaman. He's always the butt of a joke when it comes to the Justice League. But Zack Snyder cast Jason Momoa And then James Wan was like, all right, let me go ahead and show you guys Atlantis and everything and all this underwater battle stuff. And he fucking did a good job. He nailed it. He nailed it. He nailed it. And even though, like, yeah, there might have been some stuff that was injected in there just to make it more lighthearted, that trench scene, holy shit, that shot where you see, you know, Arthur with a flare and him and Mira are diving down and all the creatures are going, that is just an absolutely just gorgeous shot. One of my, I mean, it's just chef's kiss when it comes to that. And that's why, you know, it's up there at number 6. Number 5, Shazam. I mean, this is what's weird is like Aquaman and Shazam kind of did this for me when it came to the ranking, when I was like figuring out my ranking. But I've watched Shazam probably twice as much as Aquaman. I just really enjoy Shazam. It's a Christmas movie now. It's in my Christmas rotation now because it is a Christmas movie. It takes place during Christmas. It's all there. And David F. Sandberg did a fantastic job, I thought, bringing the elements of big and just, you know, just bringing that to the superhero genre, and I think he did a good job with it. And, you know, regardless of how people feel about Zachary Levi, I thought he did a good job as being the character. And then, of course, you have Angel, who was like, you know, Billy Batson. He did a good job, too, which is, you know, it suffered when it came to the sequel. But the initial one, I was like, I really, really enjoyed this movie. It's a good family movie. It's a good family superhero movie. So... Number 5. Number 4, I mean, you guys are probably going to start guessing my order now, if you know me. But yeah, number 4 is, of course, the first Wonder Woman. I mean, come on. The first Wonder Woman movie we ever got, it was just beautifully done. Patty Jenkins nailed it. I know, like, there are some people out there that wish that, you know, Snyder's backstory for Wonder Woman really got told, which, you know, in an Elseworlds situation it could, but for the most part it's like, all right, Patty Jenkins still nailed it with how she introduced Wonder Woman, and it worked. I mean, you know, let's face it, when it comes to No Man's Land, that sequence is just, it gives me goosebumps. It gives everybody goosebumps. The music, the everything, and Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, she just totally embodies the character. And everything about this movie is pretty much just like, you know, it's just fantastic. It's just absolutely fantastic. And even though, like, I know the third act got a little wonked with whatever the hell, but it still works. It still all works. And Wonder Woman's just going to always be one of the top tier superhero movies. Number 3, Zack Snyder's Justice League. That's right. I know some people put it at number 1 or number 2, but I put it at number 3. Which I, you know, again, you can guess what, you know, the other 2 is going to be in their order. But, you know, I mean, it's nothing against it or anything like that. It's very difficult. It's the top 3 can rotate. It really can rotate. You realize, like, when it comes to rankings, even if I were going to take, like, the whole CBM world, like all the comic book movies, they rotate. So naturally, the DCU one can rotate too. There's some times where I could be like, that one's better. No, that one's better. I have conflict with myself, guys, when it comes to these movies. That's why I don't really like to do rankings sometimes, because it's like, yeah, some days I don't, and some days I do. But Zack Snyder's Justice League is number 3 in my book. And I mean, obviously, it could be number 1 just because of what went into getting this movie out with the whole Snyder Cut thing. It was a crazy time, crazy adventure, and the fact that I've, you know, now become friends with the director himself, and he shows up on the Vodka stream. It's all just so freaking awesome and great. But just what it took to get this movie out and to get it realized, and I mean, it very well. In some, like I said, in some days when if I put it on and I watch it, I go, this is the best CBM ever. I mean, it is just, it's so long and so fleshed out, and it's such a good Justice League movie. It's like, it like makes me want to cry when it comes to this, but yeah, I put it at number 3 right here. Number 2, which one's it gonna be? Man of Steel. Man of Steel, I mean, come on. This is what started it all. Man of Steel is what started it all, and it's one of the best, if not the best, sometimes I feel like it is the best origin story for a superhero. And to have Superman reinvigorated, reinvented, You know, it's like, obviously they wanted what Christopher Nolan did with the Dark Knight trilogy. They wanted him like, can you apply that to Superman? And he was like, no, I'm not going to do that. But then, of course, he recommended Zack Snyder to do it. And the fact that he did do it, and the fact that it's still talked about to this day. I mean, when I watched that movie, I'm like, God damn. I mean, the concepts in here, from the opening scene to just from start to finish, what Zack was cooking here is just like pretty damn crazy. And it's sad that we didn't get a direct sequel to it. But hey, you know, there's nothing wrong with just having this movie. This movie is just, again, it's up there, like, even like when it comes to just CBMs altogether. So naturally, you guys know what the number one's gonna be. I mean, obviously, being a Batman fan and being a fan of Man of Steel, naturally, it was going to be Batman vs. Superman. I mean, come on. This is the movie that, I mean, when this was announced, when they announced it so beautifully at Comic-Con with Harry Lennix reciting the line that Bruce says to Clark in Dark Knight Returns. Ever since that, I was like, I'm covering this movie like crazy on my channel, and I covered it like crazy. I did. In the early days of this channel, I was all about this movie because I was like, oh my God, we're getting this, and I love the Dark Knight Returns book and the animated movie, and I'm just like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. We're actually going to get this in live action. And then when we first saw that trailer,